Good morning, Southern California, AM 1220 KHTS. Welcome to the Santa Clarita Valley Industry Association of Spotlight on AM 1220. And I've got my good friend Steve Schaefer. Steve is a reverse mortgage specialist, a mortgage professional at American Family Funding. And we want to talk about reverse mortgages. We want to talk about the recent changes that we've had since the new year on reverse mortgages.
Yeah, thanks for having me come in today, Fred. Appreciate it. One of the things that has come up is last September, the end of September, they changed the qualifications for reverse mortgage in terms of limiting how much money you can actually draw. A reverse mortgage works is they figure out the equity that you have in your home and they find a principal limit. Principal limit then is based upon your age, the equity that you can tap, and the interest rates. And what they've changed the rule, making you only qualify for 60% withdrawal the first year, and to kind of have you use the money over the longer term, and then after 12 months go by, you can tap the other 40% of the equity that you'd be qualified to use.
And we're not talking about 60 plus 40, 100% of the equity. We're talking about 60% of the amount they'll let you take versus 60% of the total equity, correct?
Exactly, because the amount they'll let you take is the principal limit, and that's based upon the equity that you have, your age. And the interest rates.
Got it, okay.
The trinity, so to speak.
Perfect. Trying to break it down so I can understand it and wrap my head around it. So let's talk about how can you take the money? Is it all up front, or is it before you could take money up front, line of credit? There was different ways to take money.
You can still do that. Again, there's just the limit where you can draw the first year. You can take a line of credit. You can take monthly, what we call tenure, not 10-year, but tenure, Tenure, basically means as long as you live in the home as your principal residence, you can draw so much a month to kind of, just like you would get a Social Security direct deposit. You can take a lump sum to pay off anything, or you can just have it set up as an emergency fund. You can do a combination of all three. So those are some of the options that you have. What we found is that the idea of the changes are to make this a long-term retirement planning program rather than an option of last resort. A lot of people say, well, I'm not going to touch the equity in my home. And I talk with a lot of financial planners, and one of the things that comes up is many of the baby boomers, of which I'm in that generation, are woefully underfunded for retirement. 60% have got less than $100,000 in their retirement savings. So they're going to be looking at, some big expenses over the next 20, 30 years. For most people, the home is their largest financial asset. If they're a homeowner, their home is their largest financial asset. I work with people to see how they can tap the equity in the home most effectively and cautiously.
What about the choices that some people, they'll call me and they'll say, Fred, I just want to do a home equity line of credit, and I could tap into that. Where could that be dangerous?
Yeah, it gets dangerous when you get to be about your mid-50s, approaching 10 years out from retirement. Because what happens is, I've talked to people and they get themselves into a jam. They'll take a cash out refinance, as you were talking about, and use a lot of the equity in their home. Then when they do turn 62 and they could qualify for the reverse mortgage, they don't have enough equity to make the program really work. So my recommendation is when you really get to be 55, do not take any equity out of your home if you can avoid it. And the game plan is really to, even if you're not going to be able to pay off your home, at least get it up to 50% equity in your home. Because if you have 30%, 20% equity in your home, it's not good enough to do the reverse. You've got to have that 50. So start planning for that, and then you've got many of options.
Yeah, you got more choices, and that's what's critical when you get to that age where you want to hang it up and enjoy the fruits of your labor. Let's talk about some examples of a reverse purchase.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, Fred, because sometimes people may not be at that 50% threshold with the equity in their home. But the home may be a little bit larger, so what you're looking to do is sell your current home and use a reverse mortgage for purchase. Matter of fact, I'm seeing more of that nowadays, too. I worked with a couple last year who sold an $850,000 home. They still owed $450,000 on it. They're in their mid-60s. Their son and the grandkids live up in Napa, and they ended up buying a home in American Canyon, just south of Napa, for $457,000. But instead of putting all of their proceeds of their sale, the 400,000, and then taking a smaller mortgage, they decided to do the reverse, and I helped them with that. They only had to put like 170,000 down. 230,000 went into their retirement savings, which was a nice boost since that had been running down. They'll be set for as long as either the husband or the wife live in the home, no monthly mortgage payments. I mean, they're in a very good position now. It's changed dramatically.
Yeah, it's changed their life, and they've been able to do what they want to do, which was retire and
We can also do pre-qualification letters for people for reverse for purchase. Working with a woman, actually in Orange County, who's out looking actively. She sold her home in December, and she's actively looking for a new home. And she was in second position. It's still a competitive market there, but we expect her to be able to purchase a home within the next couple, 3-4 weeks.
yeah.
So-
And that's a perfect example where you use this product to be able to have a better tomorrow. And that's
Exactly.
what it's all about. Steve, those that want to reach out to you, how can they get a hold of you?
You can just, the easiest way is just give me a call directly at area code 661-505-4308. We're live and local right here in Santa Clarita. And just give me a call. I'd be happy to run a free analysis for you, set up a consultation. We'll look at your options, and it could be a great program for you.
And those that are tech savvy and have that iPad,
Steve at, real simple email as well. Steve at AFFloans.com. AFF, American Family Funding. AFFloans.com.
Thanks for coming in, Steve.
Okay, thanks, Fred.
Ladies and
Appreciate it.
gentlemen, Steve Schaefer. Steve is the reverse mortgage specialist at American Family Fund. That's all he does. He knows it better than just really anybody in his valley, as far as I'm concerned. Well, I hope you enjoyed this edition and this segment of the Valley Industrial Association Business Spotlight on AM 1220 KHTS.